Okay, I'm going to give you the answers to this review if you chose to look at it. So, number one, find the tan of theta. You look at theta, tangent is opposite over adjacent. You need to find that side. 4 squared plus, let's say, b squared is 13 squared. B squared equals 13 squared minus 4 squared. 169 minus 16 is 153. So you got the square root of 153 over 4, which you you have to see if that reduces. If you take 153 divided by, maybe if it works, but it's not working. I'll do it on my calculator. If you take 153 divided by 9, because 4 doesn't go into it, 9 goes into it 17 times. So 9 times 17, 3 radical 17. Answer is B. If you would have picked A, you would have missed a couple, very little. So sine of theta, number 2. Sine of theta is 5/12. What's your cos? Draw a triangle. Put theta somewhere. Opposite over hypotenuse. You need the adjacent. So 5 squared plus b squared. If you take 12 squared minus 5 squared, you're going to get 119. Square root it. That does not reduce. So your cosine is the square root of 119 over 12, which is C. Number 3, find the exact value of x and y. We got a 30, 60, 90. So this is just us knowing our long side is x something times radical 3. So if it's 8 radical 3, that means this is 8. Your hypotenuse is double your short side. So y is 16, which means the answer is D. Okay. Next one, I ask you to find side A. So I didn't ask you to solve the whole triangle. I asked you to just find one side. All right, so this one, fill in angle 19 degrees. Side B is 42. I ask you to find A. So I look at that. I say that's opposite. That's adjacent. Tangent, 19 degrees. 42 over A. Cross multiply. I'd have 42 equals tan of 19 times A. Divide by the tan of 19. So if I in my calculator do 42 divided by the tangent of 19 degrees, I had to change my calculator. I get, I don't know if that's right. Yes, I get 121 point, probably around 122. Okay, so that would be side A. Number 5, angle of elevation. Vertical height is 1808. How long is the ski slope? So that would be 1808 height. Angle of elevation is down here, 25.2 degrees. Ski slope is there. So I would have opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of the sine of 25.2 equals 1808 over x because it's opposite over hypotenuse. Think of cross multiplying and dividing. 1808 equals the sine of 25.2 times x. Divide by the sine of 25.2. And if you take 1808 divided by the sine of 25.2, you get 4,246.33. Okay, so next question. One positive, one negative coterminal. Add 360, subtract 360. So you add 360, you get 475. You subtract 360. If you look at your answers even, you're going to get negative 245. B. Number 7, the majority of you are going to change, I'm sure, 15 pi over 12 to degrees. So if you take 15 pi over 12, that's 225 in degrees. So, and really that's 5/4, but it's 225 degrees. And then add 360, subtract 360. In radians, you would be adding 2 pi, which is 24 pi over 12, subtract 24 pi over 12. But you guys will be able to give me these in degrees. So if you have 585 and negative 135, you're good. If you did it this way, you're going to have A. Number 8, convert to radians. Pi over 180. Remember the degrees cancel. 260 pi over 180. Do 260 divided by 180. And then math, enter, enter. And you got 13 pi over 9. So when you look at those answers, you've got D. Don't forget the pi. Convert to degrees, multiply by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. 4 times 180 divided by 5 gives you 144. Okay? Number 10, find the sign. So think of plotting your point. 7, negative 10. Make that triangle. Sine opposite over hypotenuse. So you have to have negative 10. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So you got square root of 149. And I didn't reduce that radical. I just left it just for the ease. But opposite over hypotenuse would be D. Evaluate without a calculator. Negative 4 pi over 3. The first thing you're going to do, change it to degrees. So when you change that to degrees, the negative stays. So we got negative 240. Okay. Negative 240 is there. You got a triangle. That's 60. You went 60 past 180. That's 31 square root of 3, 2. You look at this angle. Secant is reciprocal of cosine. Cos would be 1 over 2. Negative, because it's in the sine quadrant. So secant is going to be negative 2 over 1, which is B. Then we have solve for theta. So with all of these, remember, start with inverse sine. So if I do second sine of negative 0.25, I get negative 14.5 degrees. That is not in that quadrant. So I put it as a reference angle in that quadrant. What is that angle going to be? 180 plus 14.5, 194.5. If I do the next one, tangent of theta, so I do second tan 2.4, gives me 67.4. Not in that range, so I think 90 to 180, that's 67.4. What's that angle? 180 minus 67.4, which is 112.6. And then the last one, cosine is 0.43, so I do second cos, 0.43. I get 64.5, not in that range. So I put it as a reference angle, 64.5. What's that angle going to be? 360 minus 64.5, which is 295.5. So there's our angles. Hopefully that helps. We'll see you Wednesday.